evenings, family. Good evenings. I hope you are all connected. I hope you are all doing well. I hope you are all winning. I'm super excited to be hosting you guys today. Super excited to be sharing with you guys how you can build a fourth industrial revolution for yourself and your family. Now, a short explanation about myself or introduction about myself. My name is Lihle Nxoyi. I am a property investor. I am a serial entrepreneur, a crazy crypto enthusiast, and I am also being blessed to be able to expand my business into gold of lately, and I'm looking forward to expanding into transportation, but we will not be talking about those, but today we'll be talking about how you can build a fourth industrial revolution, a business where you can be able to work and from anywhere in the world, a business that enables you to be able to create wealth for yourself and your family. Now, before I go further in speaking about myself, I'd like to share a little brief story that I love. I think one of the things I love doing is telling stories. Now, a few years ago, I read an interesting story whereby, this lady, came to her mom, and she came to her mom complaining about life. Ubomi bunje nanje, this is what's happening, this is what is happening, this is what is happening. Akumnandanga, akululanga. And this woman was complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. And her mother just sat there listening. And after she was done, her mother took some water and started boiling hot water. Now, when she boiled hot water, she took coffee, she took a carrot, and then she took an egg. And then she said, a lot of people, when they get into hot water, they become one of these three things. And then she said, when you take an egg is hard on the outside, soft on the inside when you first take it. But when you put it through hard times, it holds ubunzima enhliziyweni, right? It becomes hard, and then it starts being soft outside, right? And then she then said, and then when you take a hard carrot, it looks well able to understand, to withstand tough times. But when you put it in hot water, a carrot loses its hardness and it becomes soft. Some people, when they get disciplined in life, they become soft. No, it's not for me. When this has been by far the hardest year for most of us. Most of us have lost a lot of things, but it is our response to the hardships that determine our success. So a lot of people started the year saying it's going to be a great year. Today, people are even scared of saying the word great because they've been beat down by COVID so much, such that they've lost hope. Some people have been beat down so much through this year that they became bitter, right? The response of an egg, having a hard heart. Then she said, now some people respond like coffee. Now what does coffee do? You put a coffee in hot water, the coffee, will influence hot water and also give a good smell to everyone around. And those are the kinds of people that we are looking to share this opportunity with. In other words, it's been a bad year. It's been a rough year. It's been a challenging year. You've lost a family member. You've lost a friend. You've lost someone you love. Maybe you've lost your job. Maybe your income has gone down or has decreased by 20% or whatever the percentage is. But what I'm here to tell you is you still have the power to choose your response. You have the power to choose to be a coffee. Now, one of the opportunities that I will be sharing here together with my mentor will be about you maximizing the opportunities that I've had. Today, there is no better time to get paid for having a cell phone. A lot of people have a cell phone, but they cannot even maximize what comes with getting paid for having a cell phone. My friends, without wasting time, let me start by introducing you guys to my mentor. My mentor, his name is Sivilenathi Dwangu, whom I call Mr. D. I met him, less than a year ago. And the first time we met, I always say that that's where our relationship started being built. And I did not know that today we'd be having a very close relationship like we have today. And I'm honored to say that he's one of the people who influence me very much on a daily basis. A day rarely goes by without us talking or giving each other a phone call. Therefore, I'm happy to share this amazing, individual, and I thank you that he has given me time and has given you and I his precious time for him to share this opportunity with you. Mr. T, are you ready? I think, okay. I think this is what I need to do. Okay, can you please unmute yourself? I think yeah.
There we go. Awesome. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here today, and it's quite amazing. Lihle, the information you just shared. In fact, it's not information. It's a reality. It is experience. Series of events. We all took a knock during this lockdown. It's one of the unfavorable times. And there isn't very much of good memories in most people, but I can't complain, to be honest, about the lockdown. I'm a very highly spiritual person when it comes to being a human being. The reason for that is that people that are biblically, they would understand that there is a story about Jesus working with his fellow disciples. Then he saw a dead dog, and guess what happened? Him seeing the dead dog, he went forth to go and see this beautiful tooth in this dead dog. And you can imagine how other his counterparties felt about that. And the idea of having to get close to even a dead smelling dog, it's unimaginable, the smell that you can get from a dead dog, basically, was sort of, it's one of the ugliest smells one would not want to be associated to. But he saw something beautiful. So I take 2020 as part of that. That analogy has a role that played in me. Something bad happened. People lost their jobs. People got salary cuts, and most people lost family members. And it was a worst experience. But we cannot dwell on the past negative experience, because if we dwell in the past of negative experience, there is a projection of how the future will be. The only way that we can connect the dots is from the behind. So if we have series of bad events, anything that we project, connecting our dots backwards, will obviously manifest in the future, meaning that we'll always get to attract negative impacts, negative attitudes towards anything that is, So even opportunities, that can change our entire life, probably we'll see the negative. Why? Because our point of reference, our subconscious mind has fed, what is negative. It's only now that I understood that, the subconscious mind is like a sponge. A sponge, you can put it in any dense situation, whether there's clean water or dirty water, it always absorbs. But guess what? It does not choose that this water is clean, this is pH 8 water, this is, any type of water. It just takes. It doesn't say this is acidic water or whatever. It's a sponge. It does not know clean and dirty. Correct? So is the the subconscious mind. It does not know what is right and wrong. It just takes. So whatever we get to project into our subconscious mind is subject to manifest, because that's a true reflection of where we're gonna go, basically. Our presence today determines our future, which is the hour next, you know, the day next, you know, the upcoming 3 days, the upcoming week, month, basically. So it's good to have empathy. It's human nature, but let's not dwell on that. You know, let's look at the positive side. What was happening? You know, how can we change? You know, how can we mitigate situations such as what happened? You know, to not to become a reoccurrence. Basically, I'm that kind of person because the business I'm in deals a lot with personal development. So, guys, my name, as Lihle mentioned, it's Sivilenathi Dwangu. I'm born and raised from PE, but currently residing in Cape Town. And I am self-employed, meaning I pay myself. I choose how much I want to pay myself. It's the first time ever that I have someone that's taking care of my finances. I have an accountant that deals with my taxation, which is something remarkable. I'm the first one in my family that was able to fire my boss. While people were losing jobs, I was creating jobs.
Wow.
I opened capacity for someone to apply. I resigned at the time of need. I fired my boss. Okay, so that's a remarkable part about what I have achieved. So I fired my boss and focused on the business. The reason for that, I needed to understand, you know, where I want to be. I needed to have a vision. You know, I needed to have a mission. I needed to have real goal that talks to who I am. I am the greatest being that has ever been created by God, and I am custom made, and I can choose every day if I want to be a millionaire, a billionaire, a trillionaire. That's where I am. I think big. I am so scared not to be a multi-millionaire. That is me. And I'm not projecting this to anyone, but a friend of mine and a mentor in the business also told me that every child deserves a rich parent, and which put me to a position to understand the reason why my life was the way it is because in an appointment that has been set by my parents for me. Them not getting to the point where they're supposed to be in life to allow me to have a conducive environment where probably I have dreams of becoming a comedian, or probably say that I want to do contemporary dance, but I can't do that. Those don't put food on the table. The excitement they get when I was about to, you know, to graduate from college, they were so excited. And everyone in the family was saying that I'm going to work for the entire family. You know, they said,
Work for the entire family.
Now imagine getting to give a stipend, you know, you just done, you got an internship, you're getting a stipend. Back then, the stipend that I used to get was about 3.5. My background in qualification is in IT. I enjoy anything that is IT related, anything that talks about the internet, internet of things, you know, internet of everything, you know. I even have desires that I will be coming in home. I wouldn't even need to open the door. The door would sense that I need to get in, and then it will open for me. If I'm thirsty and need coffee or cool drink, then the kettle will automatically switch on. That's where we're going, you know. I see that happening in the next 10 to 15 years time. That's where technology goes. It's making life convenience, basically. And that's the influence of artificial intelligence that it has. People can see the evolution of change that has been happening through time, looking at money as well. So I had this responsibility of taking 3.5 and subtract it to the needs that are required at home, you know. So I had to carry that burden. Guess what? So the level of thinking and dreams was based on, okay, so next month I have to buy food, you know, and I have to buy electricity as well, and I have to get my money for transport. I won't be able to buy cash clothing. Guess what? I needed to have an account. At least if I can take by, you know, a credit and pay off the credit, then again I take. Can you imagine that standard of lifestyle? I thought that, you know, having to go to school, get a qualification that will make your life less stressful, made it more stressful, you know, because the opportunities that I got did not address the financial issues that have been created by my parents and other family members. We cannot run away from the fact that yes, being one of those disadvantaged, you know, previously disadvantaged, you know, African members, we are subject to look back to support each and every other individual in our families that have not got into meeting the requirements of sustaining themselves. So by default, you know that you know you're working not only for you but for your family and close family members. You know, there will be aunts that will call you randomly, asking you to buy them electricity for 200 rand, or tell you that the kid wants to go to school and they don't have transport money, and they don't have any, so you must have that. Now imagine getting 3.5. They don't even know that, or can even budget that this kid probably has things to do, he's starting life, he has his own life, probably he wants to save up, they never consider that I would be wanting to save up, money. Let's say maybe if I wanted to save up 500 rands a month, so that when I get that queen, I'll just be able to instantly do the lobola. They didn't think about those things, they didn't think that maybe I wanted a car or whatever the case may be. They didn't think that maybe I wanted to move out from home and all of those things. So they were all blinded by the situation that they had, which is we need to eat, and the only person that can make us eat is the one that's currently working. Imagine that, So I had to carry that burden. Then I realized now, okay, I'm in trouble. And the trouble that I had, would deserve an uppercase of SHIT to express it. So I realized that now I'm in SHIT, in uppercase and bold. So I needed to come up with a plan, I needed to get something that's going to be conducive to answer the questions of how the kid's going to get to school, and if a window is broken, who's going to fix it, and all of those things basically. So that gave me a huge responsibility that comes with a lot of stress and depression. Sometimes I would get frustrated when I see a call. I don't care whether they're going to ask how am I or they miss me. I'm like, no, not this call. I know they're going to ask money. Where do they think I have this money? I used to get so frustrated because I needed to answer the call to hear how much one needs and what is the problem. And it became a continuous relationship that whenever I get a call, I know that it's a responsibility that requires me to give out money. Now, just imagine having 3.5 a month. There's transport money, there's food. You need to look presentable because you still want to get a permanent job and all those things, and you still want to have social money. That means you needed to cut out on social responsibilities and focus more on providing for the family with the little you have. And it's kind of frustrating, and it's a burden that we have to take with, whether we like it or not. It's happening. You can't run away with that. And the other matters that are becoming, a pressure, is also being a man. When you're a man, you're not asked to be responsible. Being a man, they always tell us being a man is being a dad. You're entitled to stand up and provide, whether you like it or not. It's not a matter of a question you have to negotiate that. So there's also that peer pressure that comes among us as men, that you need to provide for your family without being asked. You get me? So even if they would maybe have a conversation, electricity is too low now, so no, let's do this, let's use less of this. They're not talking to you that make a plan. They're just having a conversation, and you get so frustrated that they know that I don't have money, but they're telling me that electricity is low and all that. Do you see? So it becomes that. But how do you get to solve this problem? The best bet that I had was to go and get a credit card. So I got a credit card, because I needed to add more money. So it was a second stream, money that does not grow, money that I take that I have to give back. Guess what? I said to myself, I'm going to get this credit card. And this credit card will allow me to be able to take, to spend money when there's those unoccasionable variables that are required, like the electricity is gone, the water bill just went up this month, and all of those things. Basically, everything that's out of the tight budget, I was going to sort it out with credit card. And when the credit card reached its limit and I needed to start to pay it back, I needed more. Oh, there we go. And Pep told us about Capfin. I went to Capfin. It was so easy. It's a nice, easy process, guys. I'm not saying go and do it, but for me, it was nice and easy to get, convenient money, considering that I had to earn 3.5. So I took about 5,000, so that I can do more, So every time there was a problem, I needed to get money. And all this money that I get, it was not passive income. It was not active income. It was debt. It was bad debt. So that's the experience that I had with money. And the reason why I was in that position, it's simply because I had 20 Bitcoins in 2013. I had 20 Bitcoins. And guess what did I do with these Bitcoins? I spent them on a website that we used to trade digital cards that was supposedly have to worth something. So I bought multiple cards from everyone that was selling these cards. They only accepted payments of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. and I bought all of them, and I had these cards, hoping to sell them at least at a higher margin because I'm the only one, meaning that I'm the only supply. And when the supply is limited, guess what to the demand? It always look at an incline side. So I knew having to be the only supplier of these digital cloud cards, these guys would want to buy, and I can sell at my own price. They can bid to buy, and I will be on the winning side. So that's what happened. I bought these cards, and guess what? A few weeks later, when I'm ready to trade the cards, no one was willing. Can you imagine? No one was willing to buy the cards. And the question I asked the guys, what's happening? Why is anyone doesn't want to buy? So a guy in Bangladesh told me, no one is selling Bitcoins at this stage because of the future value of Bitcoin. And I'm like, what do you mean a future value? Because the reason why we were using Bitcoin was of convenience. I don't need to know you, you don't need to know me. And of course, it's fast, easy transactions, That's all we needed. We didn't want something that's going to take days to declare, 24 hours. We wanted something that's going to be instant form of transaction, which was Bitcoin at the time that we used. And a few years later, about 2017, one Bitcoin went to about 19,900 US dollar. That's about, in South African rand, that's about 300,000. Just imagine for a moment that you had 20 Bitcoins, 4 years back, and 4 years later, when Bitcoin value, hits its all-time high on the market, and you have about 0. You practically gonna become the joke. You practically gonna become the joke, because what you just did is to lose value. What you just did is to lose value. Sorry about that, guys. I was just getting my calculator from my bag. So this is my calculator, okay? This is what I do, I was not good with mathematics, but I'm good at counting the number of coins by the current value of any foreign currency. That's how I calculate now, I calculate by 10 times 300, 10 times 200, and that's how I calculate. So if I'm saying, 2013, I had about 20 Bitcoins. Now we're gonna say 20 Bitcoins multiplied by the all-time high of Bitcoin 4 years later, when I had 0. 4 years later, I had 0 because I traded into specific digital asset that's worth 0 because it was no longer tradable. Anything that's not tradable, it does not have a trading value, and there's no margin on that. So I had these 20 Bitcoins and I traded for 0. Let's say for just a moment, I did not spend, I just kept this Bitcoin, for some reason that I don't know, let's just say I just kept it until 2017, when one Bitcoin was about 300,000. Let's multiply 20 by 300,000. That, of course, would be today, Jesus Christ. I would be wealthy, guys, way, way, way wealthy than I could have imagined 2017. And guess what? We would have been connecting here as we speak, including me and Lihle. We would have been friends. The reason for that is because the dimension of having 6 million in 2017 would have put me into today being one of the multi-millionaires in cryptocurrency. Imagine the diversification that I would have done with that money. Imagine how much I would have employed and put into circulation so that it would come back. And I just recently learned a new term, by Reverend Ike. He says that money is a lady. You should treat money with respect. You should invite money and stop saying you're spending money. Because when you say you're spending money, you're chasing money away. Say you are circulating money. You put it into circulation, whether you're buying airtime, whether you're buying a cold drink, whether you're on a date, you are circulating, you're not spending. So imagine if I had about 6 million by 2017, I would have dropped that CV dead. I would have fired my boss long ago. But, I had this opportunity and I did not know what it meant at the time, having to have these coins. What is Bitcoin? What is the future value? It's more about hearing what is Bitcoin and be like, no, no, I know about Bitcoin, all these things, and you know what's trading, I know these things, you know, yeah, a guy of mine used to do these things and lost a lot of money. That's what's killing people now. And guess what? During lockdown, level 5 was the best year of my life. It was the second best year from the year that my partner said yes when I proposed. That's how it was the best year to me, because the money I've made and how easily it was able to accumulate value, you know, because of lockdown restrictions, it put me in a position that, oh guys, this is crazy, 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 you know, through this thing of cryptocurrency. I did not think that it would give me such capacity. I did try out a lot of things in cryptocurrency, doing it myself. I thought I was an investor, but little did I know that I'm just an amateur and I'm a poser, you know? So I did it the wrong way. I didn't get a mentor. I didn't get to be a mentee. I didn't get to be mentored. I did not have anyone to follow. I wanted to do it myself because I was chasing what I lost previously by exchanging 20 Bitcoins for stupid cars that are worth 0 today. I don't even recall the login details of that bloody site. But at the back of my mind, what I know now is I lost 20 Bitcoins, and by 2017, I had 0 Bitcoins because I was so tired of trying this thing of Bitcoin. And to me, it was not for me. And I said, I'm going to focus on corporate. I'm going to climb up the step ladder of corporate, you know? And I tried that, and I realized the more I get promotions, the higher the tax becomes, and the higher the bracket for me to take, a medical aid. And I'm a bloody healthy person. I don't get sick easily. Sometimes I miss getting flu because I realize that I haven't had flu the entire year, you know, which is kind of remarkable. Basically, I eat everything. I don't have allergies. I eat anything. So that's the kind of person I am. So basically, food don't make me sick and all of those things basically. So what I'm trying to project to you guys is that I had an opportunity in my hand, but I did not know what it meant. And guess what? I traded that opportunity for nothing. And it's only 2017 that I realized, but flip, you know, I shot myself. But luckily, by 2017, I was introduced to a concept called cryptocurrency mining, Bitcoin mining, you know, and I needed to get a refresh back what it means to mine Bitcoin. And I was like, okay, I needed to, you know, to be more informed that no, man, for any form of commodity or currency to be in existence, it needs to be created, you know, like a rand, it needs to be printed by South African Reserve Bank, the dollar needs to be printed by the IMF, and all of those things basically. So anything before it can exist, it needs to be created, correct? Human beings to be in existence, there must be reproduction in that intimacy way, basically. Forget about the artificial way, but let's stick to the normal way we know it, you know? It can be done. Even if it's the artificial way is another way to do it, you know, guess what? It's an advancement of how to do it, of how to bring human beings, how to make a baby. So is with money. There's a traditional way that we know money gets printed through machines and get distributed, and we find healthy notes on ATMs. Just before I can proceed, guys, I just want to know who has ever withdrawn a 10 Rand? Let's say just this year, have you ever withdrawn 10 Rand from an ATM? You can just advise on the chat or unmute yourself. Going once, going twice. Okay, I see there's a new message. Correct, not 10 Rands. So they stopped distributing 10 Rands because of the type of paper that the 10 Rand has, okay? The reason for, I'm gonna tell you this because I know this because I've worked for a bank. That's where I had an opportunity to fire my boss at Capitec Bank. The reason why they no longer have the 10 Rand notes is because of the paper, you know, it gets too soft easily. So sometimes it goes to, a slot which is called a retract bin, where all the bad notes get to be collected. And once it's full, those guys that wear the bulletproofs and have those cases, the G4S guys, they come and clean that out. They take that money, that money needs to go to be, the money gets shredded. It gets shredded and more money gets printed out, more money printed out. I recently just checked that how many notes have been printed since 2017. It's about 1.8 trillion notes into circulation, in a form of quantitative easing. So money needs to be created and put into circulation, basically, but it does have a negative impact. The drastic one, that's a reality. It's what happened in Zimbabwe. But the most moderate one, when money is being printed by law, it's when it affects the people that are saving, the people that have fixed investments, in the bank, where you realize that the money you save for whatever you said you were saving for, it tends to not be able to buy that because of the value change. Money loses buying power through time because of the current money being supplied. When there's a lot of supply of money, then the value drops. Just imagine during the season of oranges, what happens? Okay, during the season of oranges, every shop has oranges, and let's say that I buy 10 bags of orange, and all of you have 10 bags of orange, and then you sell yours, and then I have mine. And then it's the end of the season now, and I'm the only one that has bags of oranges. Guess what? Based on the demand of you guys being also orange distributors, I can sell one orange, at 5 rand, because I'm the only place that you can find an orange. I can sell that orange in 5 rand, and you guys are gonna compete to say, okay, I'm gonna take one orange for 550 because you want to be, you want to buy more than others so that you can also be part of the supply. And they're probably gonna sell it for 6 rand an orange or whatever the case may be. But let's just say that I say I'm selling one orange for 5 rand, and you guys are wanting to buy the orange from me because you also are suppliers, you also are distributors, and I'm the current only person has. You sold out all of your orange and it's out of season. That means that the value of one orange will be dictated by your guys' demand. So it's supply and demand. Where there's limited supply, the demand is high and the value projects. So that's exactly what's happening with Bitcoin. With Bitcoin, there can be a limited number of Bitcoins ever existing. There can be 21 million, and that number 21 will hit the year 2140. It's about 120 years from now. Why is that? Bitcoin is designed to have scarcity through the years, So each and every 4th year, there's what they call halving, meaning the amount of Bitcoins being created every 10 minutes is gonna shrink to a specific amount. 4 years later, shrink to a specific amount. I would have shared a slide to you guys what this means, but I'm not very much of a slide person, guys. Remember, I come from an IT background. I prefer to talk, live and show you where does these things come from. Now I'm gonna share screens with you guys. I want to share my browser so that you can see where I get this information, so that as well you guys can be able to make reference when you're able to get it at your own time. All right. And I won't be long on today's meeting, guys, because I have a late night date as well. I have a movie night to catch up to. So I need to get back to that. I've been grinding. Lihle, we met today early morning before 11 o'clock. 2 other business propositions we are in. We are employing money left and right. Guys, the only way to acquire money is to get a job, sell a product, or get credit. But guess what? There's a new way to get money now. We employ money to go make money. We impregnate our money to make us more money. Baby monies that can grow to adults that can multiply. It's fascinating, guys. So if everyone can see the screen, just give me a heads up before I can proceed. I want to show you this information. This website is called Block Geeks. I'm not a geek, but it's better for me. Okay, it's called Block Geeks. And if we go to this Block Geek and just scroll a bit down, the question is, how many Bitcoins are there? It says 85% of the world's Bitcoin has been mined. 85%. Now just imagine today it's the first time that you want to get involved in Bitcoin, and there's already 85%. That 85% is not just sitting on air. It means it's on someone's wallet. Imagine if there were notes, 100 Rand notes or 200 notes, or let's say the currencies are. If 85% of the notes were on someone's bank account, people's bank account, and you want to get, one of these notes, that means you will depend on the current one, on the 15% that is left to be created by the South African Reserve Bank. You will depend on those to get some of those, correct? Or you will be employed by someone that will hire you to do a specific job, and they will pay you a fraction of the amount of the work you did for them to get whatever money they got, basically. So the question most people used to ask is, how do I join Bitcoin? I want to join Bitcoin, and I block them immediately on my WhatsApp. I even ignore them on Facebook. You do not join money. Money cannot be joined. You acquire money, you get money. You provide a service to get money. You sell a product to get money. How do you get South African rands? It's either you're gonna get a job, or you're gonna provide a service, and then for the service you're providing, you're gonna get paid in rands. If you're in America, you're gonna accept dollars. If you're in India, it's gonna be Indian rupee. If you're in Zimbabwe, you use all the currency that you can get on, because they don't have their own currency because of quantitative easing. So the question we should ask, how do I get Bitcoins? How do I get into cryptocurrency? How do I start to build portfolio? Because now we don't get, we build. Okay, we move from getting now. We're in a process of building portfolios. Lihle has a portfolio in cryptocurrency and also in property. We're talking portfolio, guys. Okay, we're no longer in the next future, next 2 years to 3 and 4 years from now, being a young South African citizen talking about, let me show you my pay slip. It's not gonna work. Okay, it's basic salary for a reason. It's for basic needs. It's designed for you to always afford to get back to work. Okay, it's designed to be a hand to mouth so that you don't leave the creation cycle on someone else's wealth. But now we have a new way of us being able to participate in the fourth industrial revolution, where we're talking about new money. Bitcoin is about 12 years old, guys, 12 years old. This is just a teenager, okay? And we can participate in this new revolution. And there's multiple ways too, but I always choose less stressful and free, and also free. The information you shared here, guys, is free. It's based on experience, my hard-earned work and money that I experienced, and of course, the losses that I gained throughout became a good experience to give me more credibility and knowing when to act and not to act. So how many Bitcoins are there? There's about 85% in circulation. That's about 18 million. Now let's check, what does this mean? Okay. Exactly as I've mentioned. Now it's showing us here that, of course, the popularity of Bitcoin is tied to the fact its limited capped is about 21 million Bitcoins ever to exist. Okay. So for Bitcoin into existence, the original blockchain is a public ledger that records each and every Bitcoins created and transactions made in Bitcoin to be accessible and transparently known that it's happening, and redistributed to all computer nodes connected globally so that it cannot be faked or manipulated. Okay, it's a matter of security level. Okay, that's how smart it is. So you cannot mint new coins nor burn existing coins in the supply, meaning if they printed, they exist. Whether you like it or not, there's nothing you can do. The only way coins can be created is through mining. Did you get that? The only way new coins can be created is through mining. The only way South African rands to be created is being printed by the South African Reserve Bank. The only way Bitcoins can be created, new coins, 15% remaining, is through mining. This is a physical term, okay? Similar to the extraction of gold in the ground. Similar to the extraction of gold to the ground. To extract gold, there must be a company. The company must have the facilities, the equipment to be able to extract gold, and must have employees that extract the gold. But guess what? The problem starts. They are not paid on with the gold they're extracting. They get paid in rands. They get paid in money that loses buying power. If everyone in mines get paid in diamond or silver or gold, they would have been wealthy today. I guarantee you, if they could just say, okay, if I'm earning 10,000 a month, 20,000, 50,000 a month, can I get that in gold? They will be wealthy today. Working in the mines for more than 10 to 15 years in gold, if you look at the value of gold through time, it is projection has been going up because gold is a scarce commodity. It is a scarce resource. So that is why gold is sold in ounces or barrels. Okay? If you heard about the term ounce of gold, barrel of gold, it's sold in those. Okay? That's not just saying that's the gold that has been extracted. Okay? It's broken down into pieces and gets sold in by pieces. Every piece and size has its value. So it is with Bitcoin. Okay? If one is saying that I'm getting paid in Bitcoin, that doesn't mean they get paid in one Bitcoin. If they say one, that means they get paid 260,000 at that specific time. But if they said I'm getting paid fractions of Bitcoin daily, it means if it was gold, it will be ounces and ounces of barrels of barrels. But in Bitcoin, we're gonna say it's fractions of Bitcoin. It's fractions of Bitcoin. So for every coin to be created or new coin to come into existence, it needs to be created through mining. However, even the time, the amount of Bitcoin released in mining decreases. The amount of coins through time, it decreases until it reaches its cap. The cap will be reached, of course, by 2140, guys. Year 2140, 120 years from now. Okay, so 120 years from now, that means we will be chasing 50%, 15%, because 18% is already on people's wallets or exchanges. Can you just imagine 2016 alone, Lihle just mentioned 1.3 trillion notes printed into circulation. So anyone that has started savings prior that or any time like that, do know that what you have in the bank is worthless. Okay, it won't afford you to buy even a microwave that you planned to buy a year ago. It won't be able to be a good deposit for even an apartment or a house you thought you are, because of the money losing buying power. So guys, what does this mean to us? If we say that Bitcoins need to be created, meaning they need to be physical computers that bring these Bitcoins into existence, they need to create it. So the process of creating Bitcoins into existence and validating the transactions of people spending Bitcoins, that is called mining. Okay, it's called mining. All right. I know it does not make sense. Take it as a new terminology that's applicable to the new way. Do not try to reference it to traditional, because it's not traditional. It's technology based. It's technology based, guys. So hence the terminology might mean something different. Okay. So now on our side, as we proceed, now we know that, okay, there's about 85% already in circulation and about 15% in circulation. We know that the 15% needs to be created and it's called through mining, and we know that it decreases through time. What does that mean? Let's check it out. So how many Bitcoins are currently in circulation in 2020? Okay, so this information shared here, guys, is based on the early years, okay, early of this year, probably before June, okay? I'm 100% before June. I'm gonna tell you why. So if this article is saying as of 2020, there are just over 18 million Bitcoins in existence. However, not all of them are actually usable. What do they mean not all of them are usable? Now that's a catch. We need to know what do they mean, because we know if there's 18 million, it's supposed to be usable, correct? But among the 18 million, approximately 4 million Bitcoins lost, whereas around 1 million was stolen, in various hacks and heists. I hope you guys are raising your eyes and eyebrows here. They're talking about hacking now and heist. Anything that is of value, guys, there's always a threat to steal it. In South African rands, what did they do? Some other people will have these dummy ATMs where people enter and all that. That's fraud. They're stealing people's money, correct? The G4S guys, they're getting robbed now and again, correct? So everything that is of value, there are people that are there to get hold of it illegally, They want to get hold of it illegally because they don't have other ways that they can go for, or they're not patient enough, basically. Criminals are criminals. They're professional criminals and they are bad criminals and other criminals, okay? But if we say that there's 18 million, from that 18 million, there's about approximately 4 million Bitcoins lost, whereas around 1 million was stolen, through hacks. So that means with Bitcoin, there is a sense of a downfall when it comes to hacking. If you got hacked, that means you cannot get it back, you know? That's a problem. That's a problem that needs solution, you know, so that it can address the security side of cryptocurrency. It can address this, the fear side of what happens if I get hacked using these Bitcoins, because I know if I have my money in the bank, the money in the bank can be whatever, insured, or whatever the case may be, basically. That's a question one person would ask, correct. Guess what? There is an answer of that if we can stay a bit more, okay? I have about 10 minutes to commence, guys. So now we know that, okay, with Bitcoin, 18 million, 4 million from that 18 million is lost. And of course, 1 million of those is currently hacked or in heist. Okay, so it leaves us with about just 13 million. Meaning, if this 13 million, 10 million, let's say 10 million Bitcoins are in someone's account, multiple people's account, and 3 million probably sitting in exchanges, just sitting there. That means we'll be participating in buying fractions of those. Or if one person has about 260,000, they can buy 1 Bitcoin and have that 1 Bitcoin, okay? And let's say 2 years from now or 3 years from now, that 1 Bitcoin grows in value because of scarcity and demand, then that person will have 1 Bitcoin that's worth more than the time they bought 1. That's what it means, okay? But if you have a 0.9, 0.0, 0.06, 0, something, anything that starts with a 0 worth of Bitcoin, it is a fraction. It's not the actual full Bitcoin, okay? It's a fraction, all right? It's more like not gold, a full gold. It's not, it's ounces of gold. It's not a barrel of gold. You know, let's keep that to qualify the statement. So this guy's called whales. Those guys are the early adopters. Those guys hold huge amount of Bitcoins in their possession. They stashed it, okay? These guys are the guys like Satoshi Nakamoto, and they discovered, you know, this creation of Bitcoin. Satoshi Nakamoto was the guy that created this cryptocurrency and put it up into public, you know, so that anyone can trade it basically, and of course acquire it, okay? If this address is showing 1 million Bitcoins, which are roughly worth about 10 billion in US dollar, can you imagine how unfair is that? You know, for one person to have about 1 million Bitcoins. That means he was the first early adopters. That means this guy in 2008, when they finished Bitcoin, he started mining Bitcoin before Bitcoin had even worth a value in US dollar. It's only in 2010 that Bitcoin started to have value, when there was an exchange of 3 pizzas that are worth 25 US dollar, and about 10,000 worth of coins were exchanged. You say, thank you for buying me. This is what you're gonna get in transaction. So they bartered with 25 US dollar worth of pizza from Papa Joe's and gave another person 10,000 Bitcoins. If you subdivide the amount of Bitcoins by the number, you'll get that 1 Bitcoin in 2010 was about 1 rand 40 cents in South African rand, and in US dollar, I think it was about 0.3 cents. So if it is said about 5 million Bitcoins belong to around 1,600 whales, meaning early adopters. Whales are those people that take huge amount of money, millions and millions, sometimes billions, and buy commodities so that they can be the ones that can detect the market value. They hold more. So if these guys choose to move money from one point to another, the guys that are traders, they see a market trend, a movement, and they see someone is selling, let's sell, let's start selling. Then guess what? It shows those graphs that are declining, and then the whales are gonna buy again low, you know, and then it shows the uptrend once again. So that's why you'll see the graphs going up and down, up, and it's like waves, basically. The market breathes in and out, anything that has a tradable value. Okay, so now we know 5 million of those Bitcoins belong to around 1,600 whales, meaning people that have more. So we can say, you know, that's about 28% of the Bitcoins in circulation. So it's true, it's very unfair if you look at the Bitcoin in 2020 in circulation. Remember, it's Bitcoin Geeks. You can check this site out. Guys, this information is able to be gotten from Google. You can just go and note it down. I can share the links. But I just wanted to take you through of articles that are on real time of what's happening. So let's talk about the limited number, the supply. By design, the Bitcoin blockchain is built to only release a fixed number of Bitcoins. A fixed number of Bitcoins, unlike our normal currency that gets printed throughout, you know, to as a form of stimulating the economy, they say, but it has a negative impact, of course. So if there's a fixed number of Bitcoins that needs to be created through mining, and through time, the world it gets halved. The rewards Bitcoins are halved, meaning technically the creation of quantity in circulation in time gets reduced. If they were creating 1,000 a day, that means in 40 years they're going to reduce it to say, let's create 500. It's going to be 500. Okay, no one sets that. It is how the program is designed. Remember, anything that is of artificial intelligence, it makes its own decision without having to be manipulated by people. Okay, people that are into AI learning and artificial learning, they would know more about this, basically, where computers take decisions without need to be prompted by a human being. All right, so now that we see what's happening, we know that, okay, is limited Bitcoin ever existing? Okay, how they created is through mining, and people get rewards, you know, through mining if they are mining this Bitcoin. All right, they are involved on the physical side, on infrastructure side. They employ their money by buying machines and plugged in these machines, and these machines will start creating and validating transaction, and payments are made to those specific wallets for the work done for these machines. If it was gold extracted from ground, the company doing the work will pay the workers with fiat currency, of course, and they will sell the gold on their own price, basically. So that's what happens. The person that has the physical equipment that does the job is the one that gets rewarded. So it is with Bitcoin. So to understand more, I need us to talk about this decrease. So if we're saying the mining reward is structured to decrease after every 210 mined blocks, since the combination of a block difficulty solving, okay, this is more technical, but this is what it means. It means every 10 minutes, the block size can be created every 10 minutes, okay? Let's say minutes. Every 10 minutes, the block size to be created is about 144, okay? And through the reduction, this is the block size, meaning the quantity size of Bitcoins can be created, okay? And the number of Bitcoins, has been reducing through time. So if we're saying a block size every 10 minutes is about this much, and the number of Bitcoins being created has been reducing scarcity. Early this year, it was about 12.5 Bitcoins, I'm going to say BTC, being created. So we are going to say 1/4, the block size, multiply 12.5. That will leave us with, let's see the number of Bitcoins we're going to get by that. 144 multiplied by the block size is 12.5. That's about 1,800 BTC. Bitcoins created, okay, in 24 hours, basically. And then in June, I think it was between June and May, there was a block reduction. Remember, we said every 4 years, the reward is getting reduced. Okay, is getting reduced from 100, 120, 115, from, you know, it has been going from 115 to 75, 75 to 50, 50 to 25, 25 to 12.5, which is today is at 6.5 Bitcoins that gets created. So if one should start mining Bitcoin today, it wouldn't be wise. You would be losing your value. One thing can only just buy Bitcoins, okay? You can just buy fractions of Bitcoin. If you have 260, you can buy one Bitcoin. One Bitcoin today, as we speak, one Bitcoin is worth 260K. That's one. Anything that says 0.9, if you remember these things about decimals, if you add 0.1, it will give you one Bitcoin if you add 0.1. But 0.9 is considered a fraction, okay? A fraction, it's a fraction. It's not one Bitcoin, okay? Technically, one would say it's a Satoshi. Okay, it's a Satoshi, basically. All right, let me just clear the screen just to get back there. Okay, guys, I'm about to conclude. So as you can see, now we know that for a fact that since Bitcoin, since the combination of a block difficulty and solving this time is where around 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, there's about that amount of Bitcoins being created. So we're gonna say now 144 multiplied by 6.5, because there was halving earlier on this year, 6.5, which leaves us to say we are having to get about 936 Bitcoins within a period of 24 hours, if one would say. So we're computing that. Okay, so we know that. So based on the calculations, okay, every 4 years, the reward is cut into half until there is initially no reward for Bitcoin. This process is gonna happen until 2140, which is 120 years from now, as you can see, guys. So that's what it means. So it means that there's an increase. This is what's happening. Okay. The number of years, there it is, and Bitcoins in circulation going up like that. So those that started mining here, they got to get more Bitcoins because there was less people were about it. Even here, less about it. Sorry for me, I lost it. There's about it because if you look at these times, there was about 10 million then. If you look at these times, there's about 6 million then. If you look at these times, there are about less than 1 million then. So those that started early mining this coin, they are currently called the whales because they have more Bitcoins on their side, okay? Including the guys in 2015 when their hype started in South Africa, there was about 12 million already in circulation. So if we look at by 2020, you're about to start, that means you are here. You're starting to collect Bitcoins where there's about 18 million already. Can you imagine how late you are? You are way, way late, So what is the best thing to do now that we know this about halving and all those things? So this is what initially that brings about Bitcoin and everything that's happening. So we know for a fact that this year alone, okay, I just explained this, guys, to you. So every 24 hours, yeah, this is in my correction, every 24 hours per day, giving a total of 1,440 minutes. And since it takes 10 minutes to mine one block, okay, in a day, correct. So in a day, we know there's 144 blocks are mined, which in equation would be 24 hours multiplied by 60 divided by 10 equals to 144 blocks mined. That's per day. So to do a calculation of coins, Bitcoins created per day, it will be at this. Okay, highlighted in blue. So you'll take the block size, multiply by the amount of block size, okay, and the amount of Bitcoins, it will give you the number of Bitcoins. But since it is already halved to 6.5, so it will be 144 multiplied by 6.5, and it will give you the 936 Bitcoins mined per day. Okay, so that is what this means. It means per year, 657 BTCs have been mined in halving, and in June, the rate will reduce to 900 Bitcoins per day. That's already happened. That means from June up to next year, June, 328 Bitcoin 500, they will be mined that year. Okay, so that now we know about these things of Bitcoin and all those things, and then the conclusion, what's happening. So I'm just gonna exit this. Now that we know that we are late at the theft in Bitcoin and how can we get about to get part of this opportunity, I'm gonna share another screen with you guys that talks more to, how we can get started. So myself and Lihle, if you can just advise, if you can see the screen before we can move on. Just by a heads up, just confirm, guys,
Yeah,
be able to see my screen. Awesome. So guys, since the time Bitcoin has been started to be mined, let's say this is 2008, and okay, yeah, let's make it 2009. Okay, that's 2009. So since 2009, Bitcoin value have been forever going up. If we look at the trend line, okay, up to this year, which is this year. This year it's okay, it's supposed to be there over 14,000. Let's make it 16. Let's say it's 16,000 here. Let's say 16 US dollar, 16K in US dollar. Okay, so it has been forever going up in value. Okay, so this screenshot is showing you what happens after every time there's a block reduction. So every time after a block reduction, okay, it does this. It goes down and then starts to accumulate, goes down, and all those things. See, even if it has been going up and down, up and down, up and down, but if you are into this building wealth in generational wealth, guys, if you're building wealth through time, if you're building a business, if you're building a capacity, if you're building leverage, you know, most people say that it takes about 5 years to start to see if a business is going to survive, because the fifth year is a critical year that decides the business survival, if it's going to continue to be a profitable business or a success. So if you hit the 6th year, and you are considered that you are an entrepreneur and your businesses, managed to survive. So if you build a business in cryptocurrency, if you build a portfolio in cryptocurrency, the best bet to do it is to use leverage, is to plug into a franchise, is to get a system that can work for you, to get to a system that allows you to work less and make more. How do we go about that? Okay, now we're seeing Bitcoin has been forever going up and down throughout the years, but we know from 2009 up to 2020, Bitcoin is about 260K in rands. That's the value of one Bitcoin. In US dollar, it's 16K. And these guys that are the trading, the institutional traders and all of these guys, they know what this means. They know the impact of quantitative easing has done. QE, printing out of money, what it causes, in economy, how many people are going to lose out because they're not aware. So what they do, they taking their wealth and store it in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a currency that's designed to accumulate value through time because of limited scarcity. As Bitcoin goes up in value, the scarcity goes down in value through the years, up to 0 Bitcoins mined, okay? And there will be 21 million in circulation by 2140, 120 years from now, okay? So clearing the screen there, now we understand that, okay, through the time, this is what's happening with Bitcoin, and the projections probably for 2022, I see a 2022 one Bitcoin being above more than 50K, more than 50K, because I know in 2017 it was about 19K in US dollar. That's what I know for a fact. I'm able to make this decision and know that because based on connecting the dots from behind, okay? The only way to connect the dots is from the behind direction. Remember when I started, I said the best way to predict the future and see the appointment that you have set for your life is by you looking at backwards, okay? What you did yesterday determined your today. If you did not click to that link of invite by Lihle, you would have been here. That means being here, you're setting an appointment for your financial future. You're setting an appointment. Should it be that our president gets pressured, with the global decision takers, that lockdown in SA must be there. The second wave, yes, it's coming, but if they decide on the second lockdown, if it has impacted families financially, business financially, whether you're in property, whatever type of business you are in, it's 100% guaranteed this time you will survive by a thin thread, because you have first-hand experience about how it is going to impact you. Then, now that you know what it means to be affected by the fundamentals of politics and nature causes, why can't you position yourself in the new ever-changing technology? We know what Henry Ford died. We know exactly what the guys such as Bill Gates did. We know exactly, other participants, how did they go about to benefit when it comes to this cryptocurrency. Basically, this is just a 12-year-old industry, and whatever other coins comes after Bitcoin, it's considered as alternative coin or altcoin. So remember, we know that people have been hacked. They told us there's about 4 million Bitcoins that are lost, 1 million of them which are getting hacked and heist. So what does that mean, guys? Okay, what does that mean? Yes, Samke, positioning ourselves is the best thing. Okay, I know Samke Lisiwe is one of the entrepreneurs, I think in the construction side, she's on the manufacturing side, construction manufacturing. So you see, it's all type of businesses. you know, connected tonight, having to get a piece of the pie of what's happening. This is a revolution, guys. I'm so excited to be part of this, and I'm grateful that I'm part of this extraordinary technology that's happening and solving problems. So what is Bitcoin Vault? Bitcoin Vault give us the same opportunity that the whales, those guys that started to have 1,000 Bitcoins in their wallets, 1 million Bitcoins in 2009, 2010, 2012, 2013, and 14, those guys. This is the coin that is currently having security features. Of course, it also talks to 21 million coins to ever exist by the year 2140, basically 2140. Okay, and halving here happens every 6 months to catch up with the one of Bitcoin, basically. Okay, so it talks to a long-term store of value. Remember, if Bitcoin in 2010 was about R1.40 in value, but today, okay, 2010, but today, 2020, 10 years later, 2020, 10 years later is about 260K in rands. Let's put the R there so that we can know in rands. Can you just imagine that 10 years from now, if you took 40 rand instead of buying a vuvuzela or whatever you bought, you know, during the World Cup and put it into Bitcoin, you know today that you would have about 6.5 million if you bought Bitcoins then, okay? If you bought Bitcoins, you know for a fact that you would have about a couple of millions, all right? So if we look at the value 2010 up to today, 2020, and we're saying by 2022, it could be about 500K. Think about that. So Bitcoin Vault give us the same opportunity to be here. But the current value of this coin is about 1,300, 1,300, okay? That means it's 2020, this is our 2020. That means this is our 2010. This is our 2010, basically. Okay, this is where we're going. We want to have as many coins as possible when we get here. All right, so it protects us from theft. If Bitcoin cannot be reversed, if someone hacks your account and then you lose your Bitcoin, that's it with Bitcoin. But with Bitcoin, what it allows you to do a reversal, basically. You're able to reverse the transaction within a period of 24 hours. Okay, so, and it talks to enterprise solution, okay? The exchanges that have been losing millions and millions of dollars now have a solution. They have a kid that went to private school because Bitcoin, yes, it's the best there is in terms of the market value and existence. It is dominant in the crypto market, but it does not talk to the level of security we require in today. Remember, anything that is 10 years old is kind of lacking technology. That's why they're so alternative coins, because we ought to better every system. Hence, we have a protection from theft. We have a Bitcoin vault that allows us to do a reversal of transaction. Let me just quickly move to the last slide that talks more to where we're going. There we go. Okay, so as I've mentioned, the difference between the two, yes, 21 million coins, 21 million coins here, halving every 4 years, but here it's 6 months, 18 million already mined, but here it's about 9.3 million. High value, but low mining value, low value, but high mining value, no anti-theft, and we have an anti-theft key. So we know the theft is secured. So one would ask, how are these things going to work? What does this mean, basically, okay? That's a question one would want to ask, basically. So I'm just gonna play this clip. I'm hoping you can hear the sound to show you the animation, what the white paper looks like, okay? Remember, guys, I'm from the IT background. I look at the source code, I look at the use case, what problem are they solving, and is this an existing problem for the next 20 years? If it is, then I'm ready to put in money to it because it's a solution, okay? Now let's press play and see. Okay, come on now, please respond. If it doesn't want to respond, we can move on because I didn't want to keep you guys too long. Okay, it seems that it's delaying to do the play. Okay, let's go to this. So this is Bitcoin Vault. Okay, let's look at the Bitcoin Vault. So we're saying in 2019, when it was first listed, it at 0 value, but it closed the day at $5. Okay, $5. That's about, in South African rand, 80 rand. Okay, so in South Africa, it's about 80 rand basically. We know that. So we're saying that from 2009, which is last year, and up to August 2020, the value was about that much. One coin value. Imagine that, guys. The same thing that's happening with Bitcoin. It was not just going up, but it did that down, up, down, down, up. But we know through time is doing that. If this coin's all-time high in 2020, 9 months, was about 8,000. You know, let's make an example. If one person at 80 Rand bought, let's say you had about 7,000. Let's say 7,000, you bought coins at 80 Rand, divided by 8, we know that we're going to have about 8.75 coins multiplied by the current value of that, let's say 8K. We know by today, if you multiply that by 8,000, you would have had 700,000 in August because you started mining early and accumulated more coins at a lower value. And when the value hits its highs, you can multiply by the current value and the number of coins you have. Now imagine that. So now the market started to see this coin. Guess what? The guys that are called whales, they started selling here. They started selling here so that they can buy low again. If you see in the middle of this graph, if I clear my screen, I'm gonna zoom in a bit. Just give me a heads up if you can see. Anyone can see? Let's exit. Let's click on escape. I want to show you this, guys. I want to zoom. Okay. There's a graph within a graph. Okay. So if we see the smallest graph there, I'm going to go exactly to this graph. Let's go to it now. Let's see if it minimize. Just give me a heads up, King. If you can see, anyone else can just give me a heads up. So if we're saying the all-time high was here, the whales started selling so that everyone can panic and they can buy low. That's what they're doing. So the value in 9 months, it went up. And of course, now it's been 3 months. It is down for a moment. But guess what? Bitcoin has been doing this. Bitcoin has been doing this. Bitcoin has been doing this until 2020. Okay, from 2009. So I see the same mechanism with Bitcoin Vault. I see the same mechanism for it going up and down. It's going up, you know. I don't know what's going to be the value 10 years from now, but I'm 100% sure if BTC.com, the highest ranked company, will be starting to mine this coin by 17th of November, and Bittrex, the biggest top 5 exchange, which is called Bittrex, will be listing this coin. It talks to the value of the coin going up. Okay, it talks to credible market. It talks to the traders, which we call whales. They would securely put in their money because these talk to the security risk. That's what we're looking at. So guys, King, I hope you can give me about these 3 minutes, okay? I'm just needing to conclude here. So guys, this is what we're looking at. We're looking into get at the lowest time of the coin so that when the coin goes to its all-time highs once again, we have more than one. Let's say now you are mining this coin and you've already collected 50 coins within the period of 3 years. Let's say BTCV, you have 50 BTCV and you multiply 50 BTCV by the value, let's say in 3 years time from now. Let's say 3 years time from now, it's 50, let's say 25,000 a coin, just 25,000. Or let's make it 1,000 US dollar. Let's say 1,000 US dollar. I like the dollars because it gives me less counting. 1,000 US dollar. We know for a fact, 50 coins multiplied by 1,000 US dollar, that will be about 50K in US dollar. Correct? In South African rands, let's make it 7 times 17. Let's multiply that by 17. Then you know for a fact what we're looking at. We are looking at 850K in rands in 3 years through mining. Everything that's happening here, it's based on principal amount. In accounting, they would show it as P. Principal amount. This is so amazing. If a principal amount in cryptocurrency mining would get you to something relevantly to this, simply because you started to acquire and accumulate coins in a coin value that was low at the time where this cryptocurrency, there was few people who were aware about it. It was in 2010, and no one in South Africa was aware about it. It's only one person, to be honest, but he was not here. It's Tumelo Ramaphosa, the son of our current president. He was in the States, in California. He bought Bitcoins then. Hence now he has a cryptocurrency company that deals with blockchain technology. Okay, so what does that mean? That means he knew about this. That's why he is wealthy. He does not depend on a stipend from his father. He is a self-made millionaire, guys. We do not have to attach him to his dad's winning. He has his own winning. He did what I am doing, what is Lihle is doing, and what everyone else is doing. He dived in early into acquiring these coins, guys. That's what we're doing. We are building generational wealth. We want to get in while the value is low, so that when the value is high, we have more coins on our side. We want to have more, guys. We want more. We want more times more times more. That's what we're looking for. So how does one get to start? Because you need to know what is the best way to get involved. What's the best way? Guys, I'm going to show you the best way. But before I share the best way, I need you to introduce to the faces that I interact with, okay? The system that I use. I don't build stuff from scratch. I don't have a land to rent. I don't have infrastructure. I don't have nothing. I'm a person that employs money. The reason why I employ money, I prefer to work less and make money work more. I am building life based on leverage, okay? I'm looking for systems that I can employ money and build leverage on them. So who is the best people to be involved within this? There's a guy that's called Greg Ragoski. He's the CEO of a company called Mining City. Mining City is the company that sells computational power. It rents computational power. That means we rent the computational power. We employ money, work less, and let money work more. That's what we're doing now, okay? And this guy, Eyal Avramovich, is the CEO of MindBest. MindBest is a blockchain company. It is it's a data, they fully focus on technology of cryptocurrency, okay? So these two companies are in partnership, okay? And this is the service level agreement between the two, Mining City and MindBest, strategic partnership. As you can see, MindBest builds data center facilities tailored for providing professional hosting service of mining equipment for Mining City. And Mining City sells the hash power and offers mining plans to its clients, enabling them to mine cryptocurrency, okay, in a secure way. So this is the level agreement service. So this is the agreement they have, legal rights of everything. That's a certificate, okay? And who is this face of Greg Ragoski? So we see that this guy founded his company in 2019 and has grown into a more successful dynamic company, of course. And his previous experience in marketing and media sectors, majors in Europe, media brands, you know, covering TVs and all those things. So basically, he has found a good pivot in crypto mining and has traveled much, globally, speaking the merits of cryptocurrency throughout. His company, Mining City, is a global company that sells, the hash power. Hash power refers to the computational power used by these machines that are called mining machines to create cryptocurrency and validate these transactions. People that own these machines or renting these machines get the rewards for the work done by these machines. I'm one of them, Lihle is one of them, and there's multiple people that created wealth through this opportunity. So over 200 clients, basically, this is over 200 clients. I'm gonna show you what does this mean, okay? But I know for a fact now it's about 1 million clients and the company markup is about 1.2 billion. So this is the milestone of the company. If one can see, this is a milestone. So the first ever mining plane was sold in January 2019. And of course, you know, they introduced about 100 members in August, all right? I started in July, guys. This is where I got in July, the 3rd of July, okay? So it was launched in South Africa, of course. That was last year, October, when most of our cryptocurrency enthusiasts were graduating, getting a certificate of basic blockchain and cryptocurrency fundamentals from the University of Pretoria by Professor Pinza. You can just look at that. It's available online and Facebook, guys. So basically, the most clientele that we made is in Kazakhstan, where it's cold and cheap to mine and have electricity. And by June about this year, the company grew to 300 clients, okay? But today, we look about over 1 million. And the goal we have is to have 1 million in Africa, just Africa alone. So We know this is Mining City, and this is the milestone of Mining City. Now let's look at MineBest. Let's look at this guy, MineBest. Okay, who are MineBest? What do they do? As I've told you, it is a technology company provider of Mining City. So what it does, it gives a Mining City infrastructure for specializing computer, for cryptographic computer activities. This picture is a picture of the site. That's where the electricity gets reduced, the resistors to allow a limited number of electricity to go into these containers, where all of these machines are interconnected, basically. So that's it in a nutshell. So this is what the mining facility looks like. It's containers on top of each other with vents, and these containers allow us, of course, to be able now to plug in these computers. So if you say to Mining City, I want to rent one of your computational power, Mining City says, okay, we have packages. These packages talk to the speed of the computational power, the size of the speed, and you're gonna choose your hash rate, and that hash rate, if they need to put in new machines for you, then they will be doing orders and facilities and being handled by MineBest to plug in one of these. I have machines that are plugged in here, guys. Today, I own 3 platinum plans that are platinum plans. I'm going to make it P, platinum plans that are worth about 230,000 K each. Okay. You can just imagine during lockdown spending so much money. So that means I spent over 600,000. In fact, to make a round off of everything I spent, I think it is close to $1 million this year that I spent into putting money back into my business model. Remember, guys, I said I employ money, okay? I employed my principal amount when I started with a lousy 10,000 K in last year, July 2019. I employed, by putting into mining 10K. And today, I'm telling you that I spent over $1 million into putting it back into the company. I could be more if I can do a thorough accounting on that. So the question one would have is how to get started. How do we get started? Of course, we want this opportunity, but how do we get started? So Mining City says, yes, guys, you can get started with us, but guess what? We don't do advertisements. We don't pay millions of dollars on promotions on social media and all of those things. So we allow people that already, employ their own money into renting our computational power for the period of 3 years to be the ones that does our marketing. Remember, guys, I'm in a business of leverage. I'm in a business of network marketing in cryptocurrency. The money I make here is so ridiculously because I put in 1% and make sure that there's other people in my team doing the same thing. They put in 1%. Collectively, we make 100%. So my effort and their effort combined make us sleep at night and with less stress. So step one, you would need to register and convert your local currency, where you are, and of course, and buy Bitcoins using your local exchanges, whether it's Val or Altcoin Trader, local Bitcoins, or Luno. Altcoin Trader and Luno is the most predominant one. And step two, you would need someone that's already an existing member within Mining City. In everyone's case tonight, that will be Lihle, because Mining City would want to know anyone that would want to be part of, want to buy their computational power or rent their computational power for the period of 3 years. Then who told you about us? Who referred you? Give us that person's name so that we can say, Lihle, thank you, man, for doing what we, required from you. Okay. So Lihle optionally shares this opportunity because he's a guy that talks about building wealth. He builds relationships on how to make money, how to build money, how to make money, whether you're there or not. So that's a remarkable thing being in contact with Lihle. So he's bringing about this opportunity to you guys because of that. Step three, one need to buy a plan and wait about 10 days for all the administration to get started to get the daily fractions of Bitcoin or Bitcoin vault directly into your account. And of course, you can always do the referral, okay, at once if you want to. The referral side, guys, it's optional. I do the referral because for me, I like money. It's only for those that has appetite for money, okay? If you want to just, benefit through Bitcoin or Bitcoin Vault through mining, yes, you can do that. But it's optional to do the business side, to do the network marketing. I do it because I'm a person of relationship. Hence, everyone I met today and yesterday and day before and months before are somehow part of my leverage, okay? They employ their own money to work for them, and we use each other's efforts to make more money. That's how remarkable it is. We work as a system. In IT, they say components working together are considered to be a system. So what are the mining plans? These are the mining plans. As I mentioned, that Mining City provide members the chance to be part of one of the biggest organized cryptocurrency mining operations in the world. Members can purchase Bitcoin or Bitcoin Vault mining plans and enjoy daily mining income that is generated by the hash power of these mining plans. So they call them by names, of course, because you need to identify what type of mining power you have or mining or hash plan you have. So the primary, standard plan, bronze plan, silver plan, gold plan, and they all, of course, go. They all talk to, you know, to the size of the computational power you'll be having. If you can see, the $300 is, of course, the 3 terahash as you go. The double of that, it will be 6 terahash, 12 terahash, you know, 24 terahash, 4 terahash. So I have about 3 of these and 1 here. And I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm counting guys by name now because I named them, you know, based on incidents. So there's about I think about collectively me and my partner. She has about 6. You know, it's 7 plus my 4. Yeah. So my household has about 7 plus 4. That will be about 11. Let's say 11. Yeah. So I have about 11 of these and 11 of that, basically. So 11 of these, sorry, and 3 of this and 1 gold. So all of these happened, you know, for me to be able to be part of this. That's what I did, okay? I employed, at first I didn't want to do the network marketing side. I said I wanted to accumulate Bitcoins, that's all, because I know that I lost Bitcoins through buying stupid cards that was 0. And later on few years, Bitcoins was worth over 300,000 and I had 0. Then I need a new model. I needed a new business model, and it was cryptocurrency mining. If I'm saying I have about 11 standard plans that was $600, so that means I spent about 6.6 in US dollars, $6,600 plus 4.2. Let's put that 4.2, and of course plus 12,600. We said 12. Okay, 4.2, 12,600, guys. 12,600 times 3. If I'm saying 12,600 plus 3, so we're gonna add the 3 times just to give a rough estimation. So it means myself through the business is the plans that I can recall by head is worth about 4,860 in US dollar. If you multiply that by, let's say, 17 rand, that would be, let's say, multiply 17, that will be about 826 200. Okay, there you go, in rands. This will be in rands. It's about 826,200 rands. That's the amount of money that I put in. Okay, simply starting by 1 standard plan that was worth about 10K in July the 3rd last year, 2009, when I heard about Mining City, and I put in that amount, started mining, and then I did the networking side. The money that I've made through network and of course mining the coin, I put it back into buying back more. So I employed more money. All of these things that you're seeing here, it's based on this principal amount, okay? And the number of coins today that I account to, it quite excites me. And guess what I'm doing? I am holding. If in crypto you are holding coins, you are considered a hodl. They call you a hodl. So for example, okay, I'm not saying I have this much amount, but this is, I'm saying example. If I have 500 coins, BTCV, okay, let's say BTCV, okay, in my account. Let me clear the screen so that we can be clear. I want to use red. Let's say I have about 500 BTCV, and let's multiply by currently today's value, which is about 1,200 in South African rands. Put the R there. That would be talking about let's say 500 coins multiplied by 1,200. That's about the coins that I would worth about 600K. Okay. But let's say this time next year, the coin value is about 5,000, just lousy 5,000. So what we're gonna do, okay? We're gonna just compare that, okay? We're gonna use black. Let's say 500 coins multiply by 5,000, 5,000, that would be an amount of, let's check this out. Oh God, this is amazing. Let's say 5,000 by this time next year. I'm looking about 25000. Am I correct? There's about 500, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure how much is that when you look at it in naked eye, but someone just can kindly confirm. Let's put an R there. How much is that, King?
2.5 million.
Correct. So it means for me having these 500 coins as we speak, okay, now that I know that the value is subject to change because, okay, it inclines in value. It goes up in value through time, just like what Bitcoin did, okay? If the value goes up through time, let's say now today it's 2020, let's say 2020. 2020 it's 1.2, 1.2. Make it nice and neat. Sorry guys, I'm writing on the screen of the laptop using my finger because it's a touch laptop. So it's 1.2. And then let's say by 2021, hopefully there won't be no COVID, the value goes to 5,000, 5,000, okay, in rands. So I would have to multiply that. I'll multiply by the amount of coins I have. I'll multiply by the amount of coins I have. That what is this mining city plans talks to you about. It talks to you about accumulating these coins through mining. And of course, the business side. It's not mining that can give you this amount of coins. Unless you say you're gonna put in probably $1 million to get a higher computational power that can equivalently make you to get at least 1 coin or 5 coins a day. So imagine, let's say your computational power, your hash rate, gives you about 1 coin a day, let's say 1 BTCV a day. Okay, let's multiply by 30 days a month, that will be 30 coins. Okay, and then let's say let's multiply, let's say how many days from now. In fact, let's leave it by month. Let's let it go, but let's make it the number of years. If it's 1 coin, let's say in Mining City gives you the mining plans. They say, okay, the mining plans is for 1,100 days. 1,100 days, that's about 3 years. So 1,100 days, you know that you're gonna have 1,100 coins in 3 years, okay? Multiply by the value, let's say in 3 years from now, the value is about, let's make it 1,000 US dollar. 1,000 US dollar, 1,000 US dollar, okay? We currently know how much will be that in US dollar. It will be, of course, let's make it in rands, 1,000 US dollar. So 100 times 1,000 US dollar will give you about 110000, okay, in US dollar. That's the amount of coins we'd make, 110 coins. 110, multiply that by 17. That will give you, let's make it in black. Let's say multiply by 17. That will give you about 18 million in rands. 18,700,000. See what it means? Just imagine in a period of 3 years, you're making 1 coin a day because of the computational power you have. The computational power allows you to get 1 coin a day. And your mining contract is about 1,100 days by just a single principal amount. Even if you put in 1 million, you took 1 million and put it into mining, and then you make 1 coin a day. Imagine what's happening here. This is crazy mining, guys, in a period of 3 years. So this is what we're looking into. That's why we have people that are multi-millionaires in cryptocurrency portfolio. Okay, most of them use their money to store it, in some of their portfolios. Maybe they take 20% or 5%, I don't know. But I know for a fact that guys manage to start the business that they wish to start. There's a guy that I know that's a friend of mine. He says the reason he's into Bitcoin vault mining, it's because he wants that in the few years time when the value hits the same price of Bitcoin, that at least on his side, he has more than 500 coins. Let's just be crazy for a moment, guys, because I know that what he wants. He says he wants at least 500 coins multiplied by the current value of 1 Bitcoin. Let's say BTC is 260K. Okay, that means, Jesus, this is crazy, guys. 500 coins multiplied by 260. Okay, that's about 130 million. 130 million rands. So his plan is to buy land. He was to buy land. And I'm asking, what are you going to do with this land? He says, no, because now we're moving from electricity that is you get from coal, we're getting to renewable energy, wind power. So he wants to have these wind powers. If one has been traveling across Cape Town to George side, I'm not sure where the other sites are, but I know there's a new industrial development zone in Atlantis, where they're building these wind turbines. It was announced last year so that they can, generate, I live in Cape Town as well. And it's a shock that I only realized that I don't buy electricity from Eskom. I buy from a private company. They say here in Cape Town, Eskom provides electricity for the locations where there's, I don't want to use the word concentration camp, but that's how it's designed. There's too many people and so many space, so it's concentration. There's too much concentration. It's compressed. So they say Eskom provides electricity. So this guy wants to make this amount of coins through Mining City, okay, by buying these plants and doing the business as he's doing it to get to this amount of coins. So when the value hits here, he has this amount of money to be able to buy land. And he says he does not want to own the turbines. He wants them to render his land, to just plug in those turbines, those wind turbines. Imagine that, so he has a future plan to finance his dream business. Some other people couldn't be involved in property development, but today they're able to, because they accumulate so much money here, and it put them into, a situation where they are able to start, property developments. They're putting their money into property and all of those things. I was shocked. Guys, let me just stop sharing screen. I want to share with you something quickly. Give me about, okay, let's stop sharing screen just to show me. Everyone can see me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I want to show you something, guys. My everyday journals. So every day I go through reading these books. I go through reading these books, and I stay at the channel, Robert Kiyosaki channel. That's where I go. Rich Dad Poor Dad channel on YouTube, where he invites economists that talk about what's going about to happen. They talk about the second wave, and I was shocked because we know that this guy is a property guy and a gold guy, but now he's talking cryptocurrency. I was like, my God, family members, friends of mine, most people that I know, previous colleagues, they were saying Bitcoin is a scam, Bitcoin that, and I'm thinking to myself, these guys, when they have conversation about wealth, they talk about cash flow quadrant, they quote, Robert Kiyosaki, the guy that talks about people's money, which is Bitcoin, and he refers as gold as God's money. He has portfolio there. He's talking about the economic crash that's about to happen. Hence, this guy, Warren Buffett, managed to, liquidate some of his shares in the other airlines, and he spent over 560, I think it's 500, if not 360 million US dollar into a gold mine. He spent, point to be corrected about the exact amount. If it's not 360 million, it's 560 million for 21 million shares in a gold mine. Why? Why does he want a scarcity resource? He understands pretty well that the US dollar is losing buying power, is losing money. He is transferring his wealth. He is storing value like anyone else that is wealthy doing now. That is why you see FNB now says, guys, you can e-wallet to Binance to buy cryptocurrency. That is why now you see PayPal says, guys, we are involved in cryptocurrency. You can start, opening your account and keep your cryptocurrency with us or pay in cryptocurrency anywhere. That is why we see these changes happening. One last moment, guys. I did recently, I was doing a course in the University of Cape Town. Sorry about that. I think I just held them up. Okay, yeah. I just wanted to share the modules that I was doing, guys. It was so exciting to see these modules. King, I know I took much of your time, guys. Highly apologize for that. But guys, I cannot contain myself when it comes to cryptocurrency. Okay, I'm sharing my screen one more time. Okay. Are you guys able to see?
Yes.
In red, check here. This is the module, University of Cape Town. Module 1, blockchain and artificial intelligence, the mega trends in fintech. Module 2, banks and monetary policy and cryptocurrency. Module 3, how blockchain technology challenges the financial intermediations, which are the banks, financial institutions. This is what I was doing, okay? I just recently completed this course, and guys, to be honest, it was quite eye-opening to know that institutions are still behind. They have outdated information. This information they have here, it's 2018. And since this is my industry, I am the bully into learning everything that I know. It was quite tremendous to know that I'm the best person. So this is what they talked about. They wanted to understand the interactive of how cryptocurrency is gonna, affect the banks. Look at this, guys. It's so crazy. Okay. So this is what I put myself into learning more how I can also position myself on institutional basis of cryptocurrency, because I discovered South Africa does not have a framework. South Africa does not have a framework when comes a time that they need to adopt cryptocurrency as one of their secondary currency. And my plan is to be part of that advisory revolution. Hence, currently I'm equipping myself academically to say, guys, I have this company called, and we are consultant in cryptocurrency framework regulations and taxation. That's amazing. So in a nutshell, guys, that's the opportunity that I was bringing into you guys, and Lihle, of course, bringing to you guys, knowing Lihle, the kind of person he is. I trust, guys, that you will be part of this revolution. It wouldn't be just by luck that you are here. I believe there's no coincidence in life. Even my relationship with King started me about meeting him in his property. And I did not talk anything about cryptocurrency at the time because I was like, this is my portfolio. I'm just doing it myself. But after, having a conversation with him, I realized this dude is quite, a phenomenal dude. And we have shared something in common. We want to build wealth. Okay. I know his dream car. You almost see it every day. He's a Rolls Royce, but I know currently the car he would be getting, I know that it's a Merc. And of course, myself, I'm looking for a Merc, and we were just sharing a chat about that. And one thing that I picked up about him, he visits his dreams almost every day. How often do you guys visit your dreams? Guys, I have a vision board. You'll think I'm a kid that shows me the type of house that I want and how the furniture would look like, and there will be no walls because I'm tired of walls. I want a glass. I want windows. I want to see the view. If I'm in the bathroom, I want to see the view. If I'm in my room, I want to see the view. I do not want to see walls. I am tired of walls. I grew up in walls, and I've seen a lot of walls, behind me there's walls, left and right there's walls. I'm tired of walls. I am boundaryless. I'm living in abundance. I understand that I'm going to buy myself and my beautiful wife a house that is worth 29 million. I've seen it. If not, I will build it from scratch. It's doable when you have a system in place that can allow you to do calculations physically, how you're going to make the money. I know the number of coins that I need to have, and I know at specific time when the value of coin is worth this much, this is the number of coins that I have. I am able to predict my net worth. I do not have a payslip anymore. I don't have a salary anymore. I just build wealth. I pay myself. I'm so excited about this opportunity. I can even spend time at Mark and Bean the entire day with most people that you know that will be there. Try that experiment, guys. Go to any Mark and Bean and go in 9 o'clock and leave at 4. I'm 100%. You'll see the majority of people that are there and the conversation that I have and what they have on their phones, either their phone or their laptops. They spend the day there. If they spend their days there, how are they making money? Normally, you make money when you have to be present. So, guys, you ought to decide on the on the cash flow quadrant, where do you belong? If anyone here has a job, you already belonging on the left-hand side of the quadrant, okay? You belong on the top left side, where 5% of the wealth is there. 5% of the wealth is there. and guaranteed for sure. If you are self-employed, okay, you on the bottom left side, you own a job. You don't have a job, you own it. Now it's time that we attempt to move to the right-hand side where we build businesses that will subject us to generational wealth, where they subject us to have systems that allows us to employ other efforts. Okay, let's move from there, guys. Let's move from the left to the right-hand side where all the 95% of the wealth is mostly circulating. And for you tonight, thank you guys, and highly apologize for the lengthy talk. It's just that when you talk about cryptocurrency, I can't contain myself. Thank you, King, and thank you to everyone. If there's any questions, I'm gladly happy to answer. And of course, Lihle will be the guys, the one that can share with you the next step if you guys are ready to start on this new journey. And of course, it would be wise if anyone seeks to take this opportunity and abuse it at most, to do it before the 17th of what you call of November, or exactly on the 17th of November, because Mining City has a promotion of 20% that they're giving to anyone that will be buying the computational power, they're renting the computational power. Okay, so thank you guys, thank you Tanazile. Have a good night. I'm late for my date night, guys. Probably gonna get this shocking, but of course, if it brings money home, I'm surely gonna get kisses.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Big Bro. Thank you so much for your commitment. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you once again to everyone who showed up tonight. Know it took 2 hours of your time, and I appreciate the fact that you guys stayed put up until the end. Now the way forward would be, I believe that when you guys have questions, you just hit me with messages on WhatsApp, and then for a link to be able to join or to get started, and then you also get it from me on WhatsApp. However, I hope you guys have learned something. Also, for you guys to maybe go back and recoup and and rethink and get your and be able to view the video again. I'll make sure that I upload it tonight and make sure that tomorrow morning you will have the link on YouTube so that you can watch it on YouTube and listen and educate yourself once more. And then maybe share the link with your friends and people whom you believe that you'd like to invite into this amazing opportunity. Now, in closing, I'd like to close with this statement that, um, I was just thinking today, a couple of years ago, I attended a Bitcoin event, and I attended the Bitcoin event looking for reasons not to invest. I was skeptical, right? And something tells me, when you are skeptical and you are looking for skepticism, you will find it, right? I looked for it and I found it, and I did not invest. Today, I hear Mr. D talking about 4 million coins missing, 1 million coins, stolen. And I think of one coin today is worth 250,000. And I then think to myself, you know what? If I walked into that meeting looking for the opportunity, I would have found it and I would have invested. But because I walked in looking for reasons not to invest, looking for, for any sign of shady or anything that I could find, guess what happened to me? I missed out on the opportunity. I did not become a beneficiary. Now, when this opportunity of Bitcoin Vault was presented to me, I said, I lost on the first wave of Bitcoin. But on Bitcoin Vault, I am not going to be a loser. I'm going to be one of the pioneers who will be the winners. And that's my challenge to you guys. It is to say to you guys, go back, revisit your thoughts, and I'll send you guys the link if you, as soon as it's out there on YouTube, to go out and listen to it again. And then I'll be looking forward to hearing from you guys if you have any questions. And then we will make time for you guys. And then, yeah. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to connecting with you guys, and then yeah, otherwise I'm done, and I believe that we can close. Thank you very much, guys, for showing up. A big thanks to you, Mr. D, for your time. I appreciate you a lot. May you all have a sweet ending to an amazing weekend. Thank you. Good night.